This is Rob Liefeld. Kai Review is going down.
Hey guys, just finished watching Swamp Thing, Season 1, Episode 8, Long Walk Home. Wow, what an interesting episode. So we only have 2 episodes left after this, and I think it's going to be quite interesting to see as to where things go, because the storyline definitely feels like, you can tell already with the storyline that they had planned on having. It seems a bit kind of late in the game to have such big reveals like this, and I kind of feel that a little bit. I mean, I'm not sure if it's hard to kind of predict as if you're just watching this on Netflix later on, or just watching this on the any streaming service, and you didn't know about any of the problems that they had with productions or anything like that, then you might be able to see a little bit in this show at this point. It's like, wow, now that's a big thing to happen with only 2 episodes left. Usually for like a streaming service show like this, where they drop all episodes, or they put episodes weekly or whatever, which these shows in the DC universe, they feel like they're kind of filmed as if they should have been dropped all at once, but because they want to keep you subscribing and they don't want you to use your free month to just binge it everything, right? And get it done with. They want you to keep going and past your free month trial, right? They put it out weekly. So I think this one is a little bit interesting. You kind of feel like this is the big thing that happens before, like in episode 10, then you still have episode 13 and everything to go, or this happens episode 8 and we still have we would have had 5 more episodes left, but we only have 2 episodes left. So I think that's kind of really interesting, just playing with that to see as to how things kind of go with this. And it almost kind of worries me a little bit about the whole how things are going to end. Things are going to wrap up a little bit too fast here. But there is a great interview on, I think it's Collider. But you just search up Swamp Thing on YouTube, and there's Dirk Mears, the guy who actually physically plays Swamp Thing and stuff. He talks about it, about how what it was like, when they came on set to shut everything down, and how he was worried about it, especially after he had just finished reading the script. They just got the script for episode 11, I think, and they're in the middle of finishing up episode 10, and they just had to kind of redo it, and they got to throw that episode 11 script out and just kind of redo 10 type thing. So I think that's really, it sounds like he was happy with the ending of it, so I'm really excited to see as to where things kind of go with this. So we start off this episode with Avery kind of alive, which is kind of interesting. We saw that at the end of last episode. We see that the CDC is not happy with Abby's lack of communication, and there's some CGI stuff as we see Avery kind of hallucinating throughout the episode, looking a little bit less good, but it's not kind of knowing the production, the problems and stuff. It doesn't really kind of throw you out too bad. It's just like slightly a little bit less good. But I think if you didn't really know there was any problems here, you wouldn't really kind of recognize it. And I think it just stands out a little bit just because I'm looking for things like that, because I know the problems. And if you hadn't known anything of the set problems and all that stuff, and the shutting down and all that, you might not notice it at all, because it's very fast, very kind of blink and you miss it moment, and they don't hold on to it long enough to really kind of let you analyze it unless you pause the video, right? So we see that Avery is kind of hallucinating his father being burnt alive by the rot and stuff. It's unclear if that's actually what happened, or if that's just what he's hallucinating type thing, which is could be something quite interesting to play with, but we'll have to wait and see. I doubt we'll be diving any more into his backstory with what they set up at the end of this cliffhanger at the end here, and they only have 2 episodes to wrap that up. That's going to be quite interesting to see as to where things go with that. We see that Swamp Thing ends up bringing Avery to Alex Holland's lab. That was kind of interesting, so he could try and heal him and stuff. That was kind of interesting, playing with that, dealing with their relationship as they're getting to know each other. We see Abby tells Harlan about Alec, and she pretty much tells him everything, and then we see that he gets abducted as he leaves her apartment, right? And they're back in Atlanta, so that was kind of interesting, dealing with that. We don't know who took him. We assume that someone involved with Avery, someone who working for Nathaniel Ellery, the expert that Avery had hired to kind of help fund Jason Woodrew's projects and stuff with Swamp Thing. So they decide to try. Ellery wants to use Abby to get to Swamp Thing, but she says no, and we see that Avery ends up catching Swamp Thing by the end of the episode by freezing him, which is kind of an interesting idea, because if I'm not mistaken, with Swamp Thing, at least in the comics and all that stuff, they could freeze him like this, but at the same time, he should be able to kind of leave his body and just have like an empty husk and travel throughout using the green to travel, right? So I was kind of wondering, there's a few shots here where it was like, oh, he was surrounded by all these guys, and it was like, oh, wow, this is going to be a cool fight, and then we kind of don't get the cool fight. We just get kind of a zoom back, just with a lot of smoke and stuff. We don't really see the whole fight, which is kind of disappointing, but I feel like this is what they had originally planned, and that's what they had to go with. But I think, knowing that there's only 2 more episodes left, I hope we do get a fight scene. But at the same time, it's like, do they really want to do a fight scene if they know it's going to look terrible with little budget they had left when they had to redo everything? Because if they had, they hid this fight scene so that they can have another big fight scene later on, episode 10, episode 13, 12, whatever, 11. Any of those episodes, right, having a big fight scene there with, Alec Holland, with Swamp Thing, like inside of a lab or something like that. Who knows if we're going to still get that, because, do they really want to make it look bad and stuff? And I think if they already had it filmed, then yeah, sure, just put it out there and do it. But, we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go. Would have liked to have seen this stuff, but, had they probably had other plans to doing another fight scene before the end of the season. So we'll have to wait and see as to kind of where things kind of go with all this. I'm kind of liking this episode. There's nothing too much in here, or nothing at all in here to really kind of distract you from the episode or take you out of the episode or anything like that. There's no, even like so far, only 8 episodes, I've only seen like a handful of things that are really like, okay, those are for sure, things that they would have fixed that they just didn't get the chance to fix because of the production errors type thing, and more like only a couple of them, and like we're like in the 2nd or 3rd episode where there was a couple of reflections of the crew members, and then there's one scene where it's like obviously that they didn't get the turn they didn't put any time into changing the on-set light digitally to making it more dark for the actual purpose in the night shot scene, but other than those 3 things, which are only in 2 different episodes, everything else is pretty much nothing really so far takes you out of the episode, and it takes you out of the show or anything like that. So I feel like if you watch this on Netflix or you're streaming it wherever, and you didn't know about any of the production problems or anything going on, you're just watching it completely blind, you wouldn't even notice them whatsoever. And even the little ones, if you did notice, it wouldn't take you too much out of the episodes whatsoever. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. What are you excited for the last 2 episodes? How do you think they're going to wrap things up very quickly? Do you think that there's going to be, it's going to feel like a forced one? Because it definitely is kind of, it feels like the show is in high gear now, especially with this big cliffhanger, and then you're all of a sudden just going to dead stop it, It's going to be quite interesting to see how things kind of go with this show. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
We're here for Kyle Reviewed on YouTube, the very best Kyle Reviewed channel on all the YouTube Kyle Reviewed channels. You got that? You got that right? Thank you for watching Kyle Reviewed. Deadpool and I thought it was fantastic. You need to like, you need to subscribe. You know how it's done. Like, subscribe. Right, DP? All right, Kyle Reviewed. Cool channel.